Wait, what does she always say?
Well.
Wait. Okay, we gotta like act like we're like laughing and like having a good time. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to All Things Internet, the show where
Oh, you almost had it.
Oh.
Okay, go again.
Welcome to All Things Internet, the show that usually has to do with things that usually does other things, and Emily does her gosh darndest to research and fact check whatever Rachel cares about.
That was pretty good.
Thank you.
I'm gonna try. Pretend laugh again. Yeah. Welcome to All Things Internet, the show where we talk about things on the internet that usually have to do with the internet. And we try our gosh darndest, well, not me, but Emily tries her gosh darndest to fact check and research most things that I find relevant. Was that pretty good?
That was pretty good.
I've done this over a year with her, and I still don't know what our intro is.
Well, it's because she switches it up.
She switches it up, and I'm like always panic trying to like sign into like my Google Docs because she doesn't ask if I'm ready. Like sometimes she'll go like this, "You ready? Okay, great. Welcome." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So I'm like sitting there panicking on my computer while she's, saying the intro. So I don't really pay attention. But anyway, this is the part. So I think we got that nailed. This is the part where we introduce ourselves. My name's Emily Brostaff.
And my name's Joy.
And we're here today with the dogs of the day, which are
Snoop. We got Jitta Widow down there, and we got a yee baby over there.
Baby. So this week's episode is chaos because Rachel is out of town, and instead of pre-recording an episode, I was depressed. My dog died. Newsflash. I'm
Warning.
coping. I'm coping with humor because it's the only way I can keep myself from crying. So I feel like that's normal, and that's okay.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I gotta cope how I gotta cope.
I'm still not over any of my animals that have ever passed. I mean, my chameleon passed, and I'm super sad about that.
Right.
When I feel like other people be like, it's just a lizard.
No. Anything suffering and dying makes me want to die. But yeah, no, I feel like the second let's start over. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to All Things Internet. Normally I do this podcast with Rachel Ballinger, but this week I'm doing it with Joy because Rachel's out of town on an Alaskan cruise with
the one and only JoJo Siwa.
Yeah. And so I was also supposed to be gone this week. I was supposed to be back in Virginia with my family celebrating my birthday, but then my dog decided to die. So plans got canceled and Joy's house sitting. And so I decided to come and spend time with Joy because I need to be around people right now or I will slump into a hole of darkness, depression, and misery. And that's no fun for anyone.
Nope.
So Rachel basically said, hey, we can't pre-record this because you're really busy at the vet and, trying to be a normal person and be happy.
Yeah.
So record this with Joy. So that's what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good at delivering the news when I have it like written out and researched and like ready to go and I'm given prompts, but like controlling a podcast with little warning? Absolutely not.
Well, you're doing great so far.
Thank you. I feel like I'm rambling a lot. But you should have seen how long it just took me to set this up because we came in here and I was like, okay, because I do set up. When Rachel and I do the podcast, I set up. I get the desk in place, the camera ready, all the batteries charged, the lights, lights, camera, action.
All of it.
I get it all ready. So when she comes in, all we have to do is hit record and go. I forgot. We walked in here. Joy and I just walked in here to record the podcast and I was like, okay. And I went to go do my normal setup, realized I didn't have access to turn on the lights because she has to be home in order to do that. I figured it out. It took me about 20 minutes, but couldn't turn on the lights. The ring light just broke and got thrown away. So we didn't have that. So we had no lights. Then I went to go plug in the camera. No camera. She took the camera with her. So we had no lights, no camera. And then I couldn't figure out the program to record the audio. So
she really said, good luck.
Yeah, she really said, bye. Have fun. You got this.
She really said, do it yourself.
Do it yourself. So thankfully, I store all of my camera equipment at Rachel's house because I'm paranoid that someone's going to break into my apartment and steal all of my expensive stuff. So thankfully, I had an extra camera on me. I figured out how to log into the lights and I figured out the audio program. But it took about 45 minutes. Yeah. Normally it takes me about 5 minutes to set up. It was about 45 minutes this time. But anyway, that just meant we had extra time to settle and
I ate a little snickety snack.
She ate a snack. The dogs were hanging out. So it was okay. But anyway, and then this is the part where she goes, how are you doing?
How are you doing?
You go, no, I'm being Rachel. You're being,
how am I doing?
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm living. I'm breathing. I'm eating.
We're Joy and I are
a little bit.
We are hanging on by a thread, the both of us.
It's been a very active last few weeks. Like, it just feels like
one thing after another.
It feels like whatever we're going through is contagious. So.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I know. It's been wild. I had I think I'm going to make a whole vlog about it because I have so many people in my DMs asking me, even my family. I'm so mentally exhausted at this point. I can't keep re-explaining everything that's been going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just going to make a YouTube video. I'm going to throw it out there. Everyone can stop DMing me and I'll send the link to my family.
Well, like me personally, we had Daisy and I was trying to be here as much as I could before I had to go out of town.
Yep.
And then we had tried to have a great beach day with Daisy.
Right. Daisy's my dog that's passed if you're new here.
And then after the beach day, Louis had to go to the ER and spend the night there because he had sand impaction. So that was the whole thing. And then we have Snoop, who had to go to the doctor for a cyst on his elbow, but I was worried it was more than that. Thank goodness it was just the cyst.
Yeah.
And then I had to go out of town, or got to go out of town to see my sister. And then Monday morning we had to say goodbye to Daisy as I was getting on the plane. I literally have what I call a plane curse because every time on the plane, I'm crying about something.
No.
Every single time. So Daisy on the way there, and then on the way home that morning, Dylan called me to tell me that my chameleon passed away. And then I had to spend the morning in the ER vet with my sister's cat who was having issues. And then I came home and here we are.
Yeah. Well, and then we had other pets get sick.
Yes,
and then
a friend's pets. And
friend's pet got sick. And then today another friend's pet got sick.
And she actually has to say goodbye to that pet today. And she's been fighting for that dog for a long time.
Years. Yeah. It's been a fight.
It's just contagious.
We're I feel like these past 3 to 4 weeks, we've all been like, what is going on?
Yeah, 100%.
This is like Mercury in retrograde times 1,000. I don't even know what that means, but I feel like I hear people say that when like bad things are happening. They're like, Mercury's in retrograde.
It's retrograde.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's literally been, as soon as we're accepting the one thing that's happened, it's like, boom, something else has been happening.
And they say bad things are supposed to happen in 3s, but it's been happening in 6s.
Literally, we're at like a dozen at this point. I'm like, when have we paid our dues? When are we done?
Yes.
So anyway, if we seem a bit discombobulated or like, I don't know, if you think like we're being inappropriate about like the pet situations, it's literally because if I stop, and I have, like I've spent the past 2 weeks, and I'm sure if you like are a avid Rachel follower, you'll see that on her like vlogs, I haven't been present. I've been taking off of work because for one of those weeks, I was trying to keep my dog alive and I was taking her to like oncologists and x-rays and ultrasounds, and I was basically just holding her all day every day trying to like make sure that she was okay and take care of her and see what we could do. And then the week came where I was basically like, this is her last week and I'm spending every waking moment with her. So we took her to the beach, we went to the park, we got her Chipotle steak, we did all the amazing things. But then of course she passed and I was like, I need a few days, and Rachel was very understanding about that, obviously. But yeah, it's just, we've been very thrown off, and it's just been like you said, we've just been going and going and going. And I did take a few days where I just laid in my bed and accepted everything. And I and thank God, like my girlfriend flew in early because I think it was Thursday night we realized Daisy was going downhill.
Yeah.
And you knew you were getting on a plane Friday morning because we thought, I had just talked to the vet, and the vet was like, yeah, she can for sure make it through the weekend, because we had decided we were going to put her down on Monday, because I was like, she wasn't suffering, but she wasn't thriving. And so I was like, I'm at this point, if like I keep her alive any longer, it would just be for me and not for her.
Yeah.
And so we decided, we were going to get her until Monday, until Joy got back. And then we realized Thursday night, we didn't think she was going to make it until Monday. And so then it was me, Joy, and my girlfriend all on a 3-way FaceTime. And I was like sobbing to you guys. I was like, she's not going to make it. And Joy was like, I'm on a plane in 12 hours. And so, my girlfriend was very sweet, and she like called her boss, rearranged her whole schedule, and ended up flying in. So she was with me, but I did take the few days to like, I don't even want to say decompress, just like accept and like be sad. And like, cause Daisy was my whole world.
Yeah.
Like I had her for 10 years. She was like the only thing in my life that was stable for 10 years. Like I had, oh my God, this is so pathetic. At the time that I got her, I was still dating men. So I had, boyfriends in and out of my life, and then I started going to college, and then I figured out I was gay, and then I got married, and then I got divorced, and then I did 3 cross-country trips, and she was, boom, right by my side for all of it. And so for her to like, you know, go away was just devastating. So I took the few days.
It definitely marks an end of like an era for sure.
Yes.
I feel like those dogs, because Louis definitely that dog for me, but also the pug I had before him. He was there through all of my childhood trauma. She was there through all my childhood trauma.
Mm-hmm.
She moved to Texas with me. She went through my bad relationships with me. Like,
yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
It's like I mean, and I put this in my Instagram post. It's like you have dogs for moments when you need them. Like they're not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying dogs are like.
Well, what I always say is that you don't always get the dog you need, but you always get the dog you want.
I love that. Yeah, because that's what I needed. I needed Daisy. Like I needed that. And when I first
I think I said that backwards, actually. You don't always get the dog you want. You always get the dog you need.
Yeah.
Yes.
I knew what you meant. But yeah. Yeah, because at the time when I got Daisy, she was very reactive. And so we spent 8 years with me dealing with her reactivity. And I get so frustrated with it. But it's like, I needed to learn that like patience. I needed to learn the commitment. I needed the protection that I got out of her. Like I needed that dog. And so, yeah.
And then you met me and I was like, just let her off leash. She's not aggressive. Forever you were like, she's aggressive. She's aggressive. Oh, she's not aggressive. Just let her off the leash.
Yeah.
And then she made best friends. But you did a lot of work up to that point too.
I tried. It just wasn't the right work, but I didn't know.
No,
you know?
I mean, there's so much information out there and so many trainers. I mean, as long as you're trying and actively trying to get help, and as long as an owner too, you go through a period of time where you can stop and go, okay, this is not working, and you're willing to keep trying and switch it up.
Yes.
And that's what you always did for her.
Yeah. So if you guys are new here, Joy is a dog trainer. She owns her own dog training business. And so we met through Rover because my ex-wife hired her to be a dog sitter, because you do that on the side, or you used to.
I did. Yeah.
And so we hired her to come watch our dogs when we were out of town.
And Emily was so scared. She gave me this whole list of like, don't do this and don't do that, and she's going to eat your face off, and
don't look at her, don't make eye contact, don't whisper her name, don't even think about her.
Don't growl at her when you play tug of war with her.
And then of course you came barreling into the apartment and you're like, rah, rah, and Daisy like loved you.
Well, no, you came out because you were too scared for me to come into the apartment. And then she jumped up on my shoulder and started licking my face, and you go, okay.
Yeah, never had seen that before, because I'd always held her on such a tight leash, but then she just darted for you in like a very friendly way. And I was just like, oh. So yeah, Joy came into my life, completely transformed how I viewed my dog that I'd had for 8 years at that point, transformed the training, transformed her behavior, got her to be the dog that like I always wanted her behavior to be at. So it was especially hard.
She made a lot of progress.
Yeah.
And honestly, even at the end, the last 2 years,
I know,
she really made a lot of progress.
Oh my God.
That's why when people say you can't teach old dogs new tricks, I'm like, nope, that is not true.
Even I want to, like, it makes me really sad because I really started with the positive reinforcement training a month before she passed, where like I had like the clip on my belt where we'd go walking, and every time a dog would go past, instead of doing like corrections, I'd start feeding her treats. And it was to the point where I was calling you and I was like, on FaceTime with you, and we're sitting outside of a fence where there's a dog screaming, barking on the inside of the fence.
Care.
No, and she's just looking at me waiting for a treat. And like, it's just, you know, it's just sad. I wish I had more time with her. And I'm sorry, this is a rant, but basically what I'm saying is,
this is our internet news of the week.
This is our internet news. I mean, I put it on the internet, so technically it's internet news.
Right.
Yeah.
She was a good girl.
She was a good girl.
And then I'm glad we had that Big Bear trip all together. Like,
yeah, Joy and I a few months ago, we looked at each other and we're like, we need a vacation, and we want a vacation for our dogs.
Yes.
So we purposely booked a rental in a town that we knew we could do things for our dogs. This was not for us. This was for them. So
it was
really
great.
That was special.
Yeah.
So
it was perfect timing.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a big, long story long, just to say like, sorry, I've been absent. Sorry, this is like a weird episode, although I'm not sorry. I love having you here.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we miss Rachel, but like it's fun, you know, having you here and
switch it up a little bit.
Switch it up. And if
Are you going to get a tattoo for Daisy?
I already have one.
Oh, you do? Oh, because you have the daisies.
Yeah. So when my first dog, Molly, passed, because we called her Little Pea, I got a bouquet of flowers on my arm, and there are sweet peas and daisies.
Got it.
So that her and Daisy could always be together.
Got it.
Molly and Daisy together, yeah.
Aww.
But
should just like add their paw prints.
I have thought about that. I just can't decide if that's like cute anymore or not.
No.
I don't know.
I like the paw prints.
I want to put her nose print.
Oh, that would be cute.
I love her nose print. Yeah. So maybe. I'm kind of a tattoo addict, so we'll figure out a place to put that. But yeah, so just in case anyone thinks I'm being insensitive to my own dog's death. It's not. I took the time I needed. And like, obviously I'm still grieving.
And you're still taking the time.
Oh my God.
We all slept on the couch last night.
I literally said to her, because her and her boyfriend were supposed to leave last night, and I asked her to stay an extra day because my girlfriend also left yesterday after 11 days of being here. And I was like, I can't lose my girlfriend and my best friend in one day.
And we had already talked about that. I told Dylan in the beginning, no, we're at least staying.
Okay.
One more night.
and then I walk in. I was editing for Rachel until like 12:30.
Yeah.
And I walk in and she's just sitting on the couch. I expected you were going to be passed out. Because normally you pass out at like 9:30
I've got
or 10.
too much going on.
Same.
Too much.
So when I walked in at 12:30, I expected either you and Dylan to be in the room sleeping or passed out on the couch. And you're just sitting there watching some like murder documentary. And I was like, oh, I thought you'd be asleep. And you were like, no, I was waiting for you. And then we just laid on the couch and
watched more documentaries for a while.
Yeah. But I said to her at one point, I was like, are you sure you and Dylan don't want to like go to the bedroom and like get a good night's sleep? And you just kind of looked over at your boyfriend and you look back at me and you're like, no, I'm fine.
He's fine. He's already asleep.
Yeah. But like, yeah,
you heard that when I was like, do you want to go to the room? It's the whatever you want to do, baby. And that means
knows.
Yes, but
he knows.
Yeah.
He's a good man. I was just saying to my girlfriend, if I don't like to say definitives, but it's pretty close to a definitive. I don't think I'll ever go back to men. I'm pretty secure in my sexuality, and if you're not, that's fine, but I have figured mine out. But if I had to go back to men, Dylan would be the standard. Yeah. Your boyfriend would be the standard.
Well, that's why we always joke, like, if anything ever happened to me, you would just have to marry Dylan.
There are so many of my friends that I've made promises to them that if they pass, like my female friends, I have to move in with their boyfriends because they're like, they can't be alone, but we don't want them dating anyone else. Yeah. So you're the perfect solution. Get bunk beds.
It's more so I don't want anyone else around my dogs.
So at this point, if you go away for a long vacation to go visit Daisy, Dylan and I are getting bunk beds. I'm moving in with your 3 dogs and Dylan. And then if my other best friend, goes also on that very long vacation, I'm moving in with her husband and her 3 children. So it would be 2 husbands, 1 gay woman, 3 dogs, 3 children.
Yeah, it sounds like
I feel like it's a good reality TV show.
Yeah.
I feel like we could make some good money off of that,
honestly.
But yeah, so I mean, we both like, I feel like our days, like we have really, really good highs during the day and then we both crash and get really sad and then we go back up and it's just like this big wave. So, we're here. We're trying to thrive. We're using humor as much as we can and in times we can't. It's just nice to have all the dogs and be in a nice big house with Tito's. Anyway, so...
and your girlfriend who visits, who makes her amazing pasta.
Oh my God, my girlfriend is the best cook. Like and besides Joy, I always said, and she was so scared to cook for you too, because I told her, I was like, Joy, actually uses spices.
Likes a good seasoning.
Likes a good seasoning other than salt and pepper. And so I was like, yeah, every time I try and cook for Joy, I can see her like out of the corner of my eye, like, shoving spices in the pan while I'm not looking. And she was like, well, I'm so scared to cook for her. I was like, no, baby, you cook well. Yeah. And then so that when she cooked in Big Bear for the first time, I know she was just like watching you from across the table, seeing if you were going to like,
I'm like,
yeah.
As she's putting the red pepper flakes in, I'm like smacking the back of
more.
But the pasta she made this time, it was 10 times better than even the one she made in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good.
She swears it's because this time she had the proper tools. Because in Big Bear, they didn't have like a blender
or like anything.
Whatever. I just think she was less nervous. So she really put her heart and soul. I almost said the other thing. She put her heart and soul into that pasta. And I was so mad too when I showed up the next day and it was like there was 1 serving left. I was like, are you kidding me?
I know, I felt so bad.
It's all
good.
Like
I could have sworn there was more.
Anywho, if you're still here, thanks. Rachel's probably watching this and being like, dude, never again.
This is the last time.
This is the last time I let you 2 podcast together. All right. Should we hop into the news?
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Okay. Did you first? I know you were just browsing. Did you have anything that caught your eye that you were like, ooh, we should definitely talk about this?
I mean, I saw a couple of things that caught my eye, but nothing that I had enough time to read into.
Well, hit me with it.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to pull it up.
The Farmer's Dog is our sponsor for today. Whether you have a few-week-old puppy or a senior who has seen multiple decades, any dog person like me knows the most valuable thing in the world is spending time with your pet. The farmer's dog makes it easy to keep them healthy, which can give you more quality years with them. The farmer's dog makes and delivers fresh, healthy dog food. It's recommended by vets, nutritionally balanced, and made with human-grade ingredients in safe, clean kitchens. It's the best option for all dogs at any stages of life because it's not kibble, it's not canned goo, it's just real food. Traditional dry and wet food options are extremely processed, can use much lower quality ingredients than they claim to, and are extremely difficult to portion accurately. The farmer's dog isn't just higher quality food. They also send the food pre-portioned specifically for your dog based on their unique nutritional needs. This makes it easy to help your dog reach and stay at their ideal weight, which is one of the biggest indicators of a full, healthy life. Dogs at healthy weights can live as much as 16% longer than overweight ones. That's 2.5 years. A fresh diet has been found to have all sorts of benefits, from healthier coats and skin to better breath, even easier digestion and smaller, better poops. A healthy diet isn't just important for humans, it's important for your dog as well. It doesn't matter if your dog is young or old, it's always the right time to begin investing in their health, helping you live more healthy, happy, full years together. So if you want to try it, get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/ATI. That's thefarmersdog.com/ATI.
So I guess we could go through the list of this, but I was finding this interesting. So 11 chaotic things that have happened during Beyonce's Renaissance tour.
Okay.
So I think this would be just a nice little quick, go through each thing. So the first thing that I thought was kind of funny. One, Beyonce's opening act was herself. That seems like such a Beyonce move.
That is such
Honestly,
a
I wouldn't
vibe.
be mad either. Yeah, it's Beyonce. Of course you want to see her twice.
Oh, right. Could you imagine going to a comedy show and they being like, okay, and our opening act for tonight, or like the Super Bowl halftime, it's just the football players playing over again. That is a vibe.
It is. As she said, I'm not having any openers. I'm the opener.
So how do you distinguish between what's her opening and what's like the actual show?
I mean, if I had to assume, I would think that she came on a little earlier because that's what the openers do, right? Maybe did some old school stuff.
Oh,
Lights go down. She goes back, make everybody wait again, and comes out all revamped.
My God.
But that's just me assuming.
I love that though.
Yeah, because it doesn't show any details. The other one was a fan found out that their boyfriend was a dancer at the tour on the show. So
where did you think he was going for all those hours during the day?
Right. So is it really boyfriend or just somebody that you're talking to?
Right. Maybe it was like a Hinge date or something, and like BuzzFeed's trying to make it sound way like cooler than it is.
Right. That one had me a little stuck, but there's no more information other than a little TikTok clip, but that's about it.
Because I feel like these days everyone has everyone's location, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're dating someone, if you're comfortable with that. And then he obviously had a job that he was going to. And then
I feel like if you're a dancer for Beyonce, how do you not tell somebody that?
Oh, that would
like,
that
oh,
would
what
be
do
my
you do?
opening line.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Joy, and I'm also a dancer for Beyonce.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I would probably have it on my forehead.
Just tattooed right there. Your Hinge profile is just a picture of Beyonce, not you.
Yes.
You're just like tiny little dot in the background.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Beyonce came out to America. To America Has a Problem, dressed as a literal bee. I don't know what America Has a Problem is.
Me neither. I was hoping you did. But the bee thing is like that's her whole thing is she's like the queen bee.
She's the queen bee, yeah. There's a lot of like tweets about it though.
Okay. Maybe we're just missing something here.
I'm assuming. I mean, I love a good Beyonce, but I'm not.
Okay, I get why there are tweets because that was a choice.
Yeah, her outfit's very interesting. Especially the headpiece.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love the like bee leotard she's in, but the headpiece.
It's a little.
It's serving.
We might have been able to do better.
It's serving Spirit Halloween.
Yeah.
Back at the warehouse.
Yeah. Then it says she buzzed around on stage.
What does that even mean? Buzzed around? All right, we're going to watch.
Buzz.
Okay. See, without the headpiece, she looks hot.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The headpiece is.
Okay, we don't know what buzzed around the stage meant. I think they were just using that as a play on words.
Yeah.
I was expecting her to be like.
So she also growled, but it's like, okay, people make noises all the time.
Yeah,
get
growl
it.
at me, Beyonce.
Get it. She hit a bad note during her performance and had this playful reaction. So I mean, she's killing it though. So
I was gonna say I would rather hear a live performance,
absolutely,
and not lip syncing, and hear a mistake
Absolutely.
than someone just lip syncing. Like, I went to go see Britney Spears. Everyone knows I've been obsessed with Britney Spears since the day I popped out the womb. I don't even know if she was famous at that point, probably. But I went to go see her, and I knew this was going to be like my one and only, because she only either performs in Vegas or she just doesn't perform. Like, she does not tour. She just does Vegas residencies, and this was a tour. And I said to all my friends, I said, this is going to be one of the last times she does this, because I knew the conservatorship was coming to an end. I knew she was getting, you're never too old to tour, but like at some point, you need a break.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I would put good money that this is the last time she's touring. And so, we went all out and got the tickets, and she was lip syncing the entire time.
Oh.
And it's like, she still put on an amazing performance, and I was still highly entertained and having the time of my life. But like, I would have loved to hear her.
Even if it's just like one song, because I'm sure it's so difficult, but.
Right.
Yeah, that does suck.
All right. What else did Beyonce do?
Let me see. After an interlude, Beyonce pulled back up on a tank. Oh, yeah. So she was like on a giant makeshift, like, yeah.
What?
I
like,
saw that.
Drove
and
a military tank?
Yeah.
Out onto the stage?
Yeah.
What do you think her budget is for these?
Oh, I can't even put a number on it.
Okay, because you obviously buy the stuff once unless it breaks.
Yeah.
But then you have to transport this stuff.
Right.
Have an entire crew to set it up. You have to acquire it in the first place.
My brain can't put together a number. I have no idea.
I'm so out of touch with money in like a stupid way. Not like I have so much of it. I'm out of touch. Like, I can't comprehend how expensive things are.
In my head, I'm like $1 million.
Oh, I was literally thinking like 20 million. Because like the stage, the crew, the transport, the purchase, and like how much would a tank? You keep going.
The costumes.
I was going to say, I'm going to look up how much a tank costs. Okay, what's the next thing she did?
They probably made it themselves though, because it looks like a little rink-a-dink. It
Oh,
doesn't look
like paper
like
mache.
a real one. Yeah.
She has, what's her name? Blue Ivy with like her Elmer's glue. And she's like, sweetie, get up, make mommy a tank.
Let's see. She made the spicy comment about Swarm, the series Donald Glover created about a fan who's obsessed with her singer, modeled after her.
Yeah. So what's Donald Glover's? Childish Gambino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he made, because he's getting out of music. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, nicely. Not Joy, but commenters. I want to say he's getting more out of the music scene and getting more into like the movie TV industry.
Oh, okay.
And he produced a series and it's called Swarm, and it's literally a story about a fan, and it's very obvious that it's about Beyonce and the fan that stalked her.
Oh,
but
really?
he just changed the names.
Oh, really?
So
I did not know that.
I'm wondering if she's mad that like she didn't get credit or like money, but like you have so much money.
Should we watch the quick clip real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said?
Swarm these hands.
So, like catch these hands.
I think
swarm
so.
These hands.
Yeah, swarm on these hands. N-word.
N-word? I thought
Yeah.
she said the B word.
No, I don't think so.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. I wouldn't hear her say that, and like even if I was Donald Glover, I wouldn't be like, oh, she's mad at me.
Yeah,
I'd just be like, oh, that was like a cool shout out.
Yeah, I don't know.
BuzzFeed really enjoys taking the most monotonous
Because it says, was this Donald Glover's shade?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
What's it called? Monotonous
Monogamous?
monogamous stories, and making them into the most absurd headlines and
they
titles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you get to it and there's like really no context.
No.
Says someone got arrested.
Okay, probably like for like
sneaking into Club Renaissance section. So like probably a private section.
Okay.
And finally, Beyonce had to get down on the floor to adjust her fan herself because the show must go on.
Oh, like the fan like breezing her on the stage.
Yeah. Get it, girl.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you ever see the clip of her hair getting caught in the fan and she just keeps singing?
And she just keeps going. What?
She's incredible.
She really is.
When she falls down all those stairs and just gets up,
right.
keeps going.
Her and Jay-Z are still together, right?
Yes.
Okay. And they have Blue Ivy and then the twins.
Yes.
Okay. Because they were a little rocky for a minute, right?
Yeah, there was something that went down on the elevator, but nobody really knows.
With who?
It was her sister, and Jay-Z.
Oh, okay.
And I think Jay-Z admitted he was cheating.
I think he admitted he cheated. And wasn't that what the whole Lemonade album was about?
Yeah, supposedly.
Her finding out he was
allegedly.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Did you see any stories that you were interested in?
Oh, we both saw that JoJo's house got broken into.
Yes, we did.
We don't have the inside scoop because our inside scoop is on a cruise with her right now. But we did see, and I did text Rachel and I was like, is this legit? And can we talk about it? And she was like, yeah, she's Snapchatting about it. So, yeah. And JoJo.
The photos are scary too. They're like masked people in her house.
Yeah. JoJo posted the clip. So JoJo's been in Seattle waiting for this cruise, I want to say. And then they just got on this cruise yesterday or
I
the
think
day
so.
before. But like they weren't home for a few days. And I assumed, I mean, we've been to her house and she has a massive security system.
Massive gate, massive walls.
Yeah. So, like, and I assume too, because she has so many dogs, that there was probably someone staying there with the dogs. Like, ooh. I mean, we don't know. We like seriously, we don't know because we haven't really been able to. Like,
but it
talk.
still is a shock to think that somebody was able to break into her house, and it looks like they went through the front door because of the way the pictures are.
Yeah, she posted. It's all on her Snapchat. She posted the security footage, and it's like they clearly walked through her front door. They went up her steps. And she said in her Snapchat that they created like a lot of mess and destruction, but that the dogs are fine and no one was harmed. So I'm thinking the dogs were probably staying with someone else.
Do you think it could have been personal, like somebody she knows?
I was going to say, and obviously like we have to be careful with this. So I'm going to be so clear. This is not inside information. We have literally
don't know anything except for what you see on Snapchat.
Yeah, exactly. All I texted Rachel was, is this a legit story? Because like, you know, BuzzFeed will do, what's it called where you not lie, but you exaggerate something, clickbait.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know if this was a clickbait story. And so I was like, is this a legit story? And is it okay if we talk about it? And she was like, it's a legit story. And JoJo's posting about it on Snapchat, talk away. And that's all we've heard. We have heard nothing else from Rachel, nothing else from JoJo. But the first thing I saw, if you're breaking into someone's house, with that amount of security system, that amount of walls, gates, everything.
Right.
You have to know they're out of town.
Right.
And like I have.
Right.
Yeah. And granted, JoJo Snapchats everything.
You have to have an idea of what's in that house too. Like I feel like you just don't do that because it's a lot of work to get in there.
Oh yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. Like it almost makes me think it's someone that knew exactly where they were going and what they were doing.
Right.
And like this is very much my opinion and all allegedly, but it almost looked a little too easy.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely.
like,
and I wonder if any other houses or anybody else in the area, you know, because I just think given where her house is and everything, it's just really interesting.
We know who lives around her, and there are bigger people than her that live around her. No offense to her. It's just there are bigger people with what? And so like, yeah, I'm very curious. Like, and obviously, and I've always heard this, when you're on vacation, you're not supposed to post on social media when you're on that vacation.
Right.
Because you don't want people to know that you're out of your house is empty,
right.
yada, yada, yada.
And if you do, you should make it seem as if your house is not empty, if anything. Like,
I'm not even kidding. Sometimes if I'm walking down my hallway and entering my apartment at the same time as a neighbor or a delivery guy or like someone I don't know, I'll literally open my door and I'll be like, oh, hey, baby, and act like someone else is in my home.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, I just feel like that's so instilled in us as women in general to like do these weird,
definitely,
like safety things.
If I get home late, like I will call Dylan over and over again until he answers his phone if he's asleep to unlock the door, because I have this huge fear of just walking from the car to the front door. And there's times where I see people walking by or I see people going on bicycles, and if it's like dark, especially outside, I just sit and wait, and I'm just watching them. Like, are they looking at me? How, are they gone? There's times too where cars just drive by a little too slow for me, and I sit there. I have literally circled the block before just to make sure. Or all the murder documentaries I watch, I'm like, nope.
And the 3 left turn rule, if you think you're being followed, make 3 left turns in a row, because like the odds are literally off the charts that someone would make those exact same 3
And I've
left
already
turns.
had scared, like I have been followed before. Ooh. One time I was also at a red light and I was just on the phone talking to somebody from work. Thank God my doors were locked. And this guy gets up, he's sitting on the fire hydrant on the sidewalk, gets up, walks into the middle of the street, dead staring at me, and just keeps trying to open my passenger door.
What?
And I start screaming, I start honking my horn, and he's just dead staring at me, just trying to yank open my door.
Was he like on something?
No. And then finally, like I the light turns green and I start going, and he just lifts his hands up and walks right back. He didn't look like he was on something.
Yeah.
And there was another time where I was in like Paso Robles area, and I had to stay up there for work, and I was staying at a hotel, and the Starbucks was literally basically the same parking lot, like right there. And so it wasn't even late. It was like 7. And I walked from my hotel room to the Starbucks. And then as I'm coming back, I'm like walking slow. I'm on the phone, not really paying attention. But I see this car. It's like a gold Honda Civic. And it's coming down this way. And it just slows down. And the guy just like watches me like this. And so I stop and I'm watching it. Whips a U-turn. Comes back to the curb. Starts yelling at me. Telling me, hurry, get in the car. Get in the car.
What?
I start screaming. Yes. So I'm like trying to walk, and he literally drives up on the curb and blocks me. And at this point, I'm calling my coworker, who's a big guy.
Yeah.
I was calling him. I was telling him what's going on.
Oh,
He comes.
because you worked at that Starbucks.
No. I was working for Vita Coco at the time. I was in the area to sell stuff with with another worker.
Okay.
And so this guy, his name was Daniel, big guy. He comes running out of the room and meets me. And I'm so scared. I just start barking, snarling. I was literally like, you ever seen Dory who's trying to speak whale? And she's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was me. I was just trying to be as crazy as I could because I was so scared. He comes out, starts screaming at him, and he just takes off in his car. And that was probably one of the scariest.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
that's what they say. If you think something's going to happen to you, they say make the biggest possible scene you can.
I try to look demonic. Like I am, like the devil is escaping.
You just start like talking in tongues
Yeah.
and like foaming at the mouth.
Yeah,
They're
just
like, all right. I always said if I got kidnapped, I would just immediately poo myself. Like, yeah, good luck with that. You want me in the back of your car for 6 hours with my diarrhea running down my leg? I don't think so.
I always said if I got kidnapped, I would immediately go into play along.
Oh, like
Make them think I don't want to get away. Like,
right.
like talk to them. Like play their game. Like wait for that smidgen of opportunity.
Build the trust.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
Even if it was like really bad, like because I think about it, I'm like, sure, I'll spend 3 days where I just cook you breakfast because one day you're gonna leave that door open because you're gonna think she doesn't want to go anywhere.
Right. I've seen so many, and I'm sure you have. Joy and I, that's something you need to know about us. We are obsessed with murder documentaries and true crime documentaries. And there have been so many stories I've heard where the women, that's how they escape.
Yeah.
Is they earn the trust.
That's where I get it from. Like I have family and friends that go, how do you watch that stuff? And I go, it literally helps me feel like I'm prepared.
Yes.
So I know what's out there. I know
Mhm.
what to do.
Mhm.
What has gotten people killed and what has like saved them.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like playing along has always worked out.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, they say if you get snatched and you're taken to a second location, your chances of survival are like down by 90%. You have like a 10% at that point. So if you're already at the 10%, what do you got to lose? Like,
Right.
Like play along. I can see that. This is
Right.
not legal advice or
I
actual
would just
advice.
look at it. I would be like, wow, you're actually my type.
Oh my God, look at your big, strong muscles, Zaddy.
Wow.
He like doesn't care at all. He's like some scrawny little
Do
white
you like
guy.
steak and eggs?
I can make
Do you like dogs?
I have 3 at home. I like that you would go full like flirt mode and I'd go full feral, like flinging my poo at him.
I feel like that would make him want to kill you faster.
Probably.
It's like, let me just strangle her.
Yeah, God. You're like, I can make you some French toast from scratch. And I'm like, there you go.
Yeah. Start cleaning with me hooked up. Like I'm just cleaning.
Right. God. You look like your tires could use some air in them. Do you want me to like adjust that for you? God. Oh my God. So yes. Okay. So back to JoJo. I love this. This is how Joy and I have conversations. And this is why we lose track of time so easily because we'll start talking about one thing and it veers into 10 different conversations.
Yeah.
And it never stops. Like there's never a lull.
No.
Yeah. We always are like,
And then 5 minutes later, what were we talking about?
how did we get here?
And then we have to work backwards.
So for JoJo, we don't know anything, but if just assuming by what she posted, like the videos, to me it really did look too easy. So I'm wondering if it was like delivery guy that knew because everyone knows she's out of town because she's not to like victim blame at all. Like this is her job is to share content on social media. So like that does put you.
And a lot of this stuff happens with people who are close to you. So even if she had thrown like a party or something, like you don't know who
like a friend of a friend.
Yes, who is scouting.
So we're not saying it's like her family or her friends, but like someone that had that bump and connection.
Yeah,
like
that
the
knew
third
something.
Party that like watched someone enter the code or like knew. I don't know. Yeah, to me it just seemed too easy. And I don't think she's posted yet if they took anything.
And a lot of celebrities get things stolen by their own nannies and personal assistants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who's that makeup artist that's like controversial? You know who I'm talking? Wyoming, Jeffree Star.
Yes.
Yeah, he hired a full-time security man to sit in his home, like year-round, 24/7, 360. I'm sure he like switched out in shifts with people, but hired a security team because the amount of merchandise in his house and what it equaled, he said it was cheaper to pay a security guard than to claim the insurance money if someone robbed him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it's like, but I don't think JoJo said if they stole anything. I know she just said they like made a mess and there was destruction in that.
And that's the other thing that makes it weird is that there wasn't really anything stolen. It was just more damaging.
Or maybe she just, I mean, it could just be that she hasn't said what it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's
like
true.
doesn't want other people to know if there's like valuable things in the house.
Very true.
Yeah.
But if that is the case, that would definitely make me. I hope they figure out who it is.
I hope so too. I mean, it looked in the video, from what I remember, they were wearing masks. They
Pretty
had
covered up.
They had their hoods on. They had gloves on. Like,
yeah.
So there's not gonna. I mean, to my
But I wonder.
knowledge.
But you never like the way my brain goes. I'm like, what car did they take? Can they trace the car back with the street cameras?
She has cameras all on the outside of her house.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that if they did drive a car there, they're gonna pick up the car, the license plate.
Right.
It'll be very interesting to see how that plays out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Were there any other? They're gonna start play fighting.
I know.
Was there any other things that happened to catch your eye that I literally gave her like a 5 minutes notice?
There was something I feel like you sent me on.
Oh, I did send you some stuff, and I sent my girlfriend some stuff too because I wanted to surprise you with the stories.
Yes.
Sorry. Again, we're ill prepared because our lives are chaos.
You guys, this is not the time nor the place.
They really want to wrestle right now.
They really don't
the
care.
dogs.
The fan that Taylor Swift defended from security on Saturday night has revealed exactly what happened. So I've seen stuff about that, but I still don't understand what's going on. Do you know?
And that's what I sent to you?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, but I can do a quick little while, the sponsor's going.
You guys.
I can check real quick because I did see, because, okay.
Okay, no more.
You're going to bump into the mic.
It's not the time.
Okay, go away. All right, good boy. My girlfriend is absolutely, in the most endearing way possible, obsessed with Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Has been since Taylor came out with her very first song. She has been from the beginning, OG, obsessed fan. I love it. It's very cute. I was not very appreciative of Taylor's music until my girlfriend came along, and then she really did. And she had all of us watch that documentary.
Yeah.
Because to me, we're going to go on a little tangent real quick. To me, Taylor Swift always gave me very, like, I'm better than you.
I said that too. I don't know what it was. She just has like RBF, resting face.
Yes. And her like mannerisms sometimes just come off.
I didn't know her enough, but I definitely was turned off. Something about her just didn't sit right with me.
You nailed it. She reminded me of the popular girl sitting at the table at lunch.
Yeah.
That like you can't sit with us.
Yeah.
Like just very, I'm so cool. Like I don't know, and I don't know why. There's no explanation.
No, I don't have one either. And I wasn't like an active Taylor Swift hater because I didn't know anything about her.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing drew me to her.
Yeah. Well, and I never actually gave her music a listen besides the stuff that was on the radio because I was so turned off by her. I was like, I don't really care about the music.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend came barreling along and was like, absolutely not. We're fixing that. So she had all of us in Big Bear watch a documentary.
And Dylan was into that.
Oh my God.
Just in there like.
Yeah. You know how like there's that running joke where you put on The Bachelorette and your boyfriend's like, I don't want to watch this. And it's like scrolling through their phone. And then 30 minutes later, you look over at them and there's drool coming out of their mouth.
That's him.
Yeah, that was Dylan with this. I think, was it the Miss Americana documentary?
I think so, yeah.
Some documentary where they're basically, I will say, I have always had an issue with her politics.
Yeah.
Because when you have, and I've said this time and time again, when you have a massive platform, it becomes your duty to take a stand, and to educate people and to show people what's right and wrong.
When a lot of people don't do that because they don't want to take a side, they don't want to
get canceled, they don't want to lose the people that don't agree with them. Like that's always been something. And I told Rachel that, and she was very supportive of that when we signed on together. Like not physically, but like when she was like come do this podcast with me, I said to her, I will not censor my politics on my social media. I will not hide my feelings about certain things, like human rights things going on. Like I do want to talk about things like when it fits in and when I'm educated enough to talk about it. And Rachel's like, I love that for you, go.
Yes.
But yeah, with Taylor, I just remember seeing these stories coming out, even like I think it was when like the Trump-Hillary election was going on, where people were like, why isn't she taking a side?
Yeah.
And then when her music video came out where she, what's it called? You Need to Calm Down, which is like the gay pride music video that she put out. I remember there was a whole backstory that came out about that of Todrick, which is this, if you don't know who he is, he's a very, I'm just going to say queer because I'm not sure how he identifies, a very queer choreographer.
Yeah. And musician. Artist. Yeah. Musician, singer, all the things.
Right. And he like tours and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember this article said that the reason Taylor ended up taking a stance and producing this music video and finally declaring herself an ally is because she was hanging out with Todrick, and Todrick turned to her one day and said, are you okay with gay people? Like, are you okay with the queer community?
Yeah.
Like, and she was like, oh my God, of course I am. Why would you think that? And he was like, because you don't ever say anything.
Yeah.
Like in this day and age, it's not enough to just be like, okay, and accept it. Like, you have to actively take a stand. You
Absolutely.
have to actively be an ally.
Absolutely.
And so he basically called her out on that. And to me, I was like, ugh, I don't like that someone has
because it's people like Taylor Swift, like you were saying before, that we need you advocating for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that someone from the queer community had to explain that to her. I was just like, you should just
the way I look at that though is like, some people, because of how they're raised, because of what they're subjected to, some people do need to explain to them. But to me, is how do you deal with it after he's in a playful mood, after
Snoop is
explained to you, and as long as they make the change and they go forward the way that they should, like, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And we talked about this in the car today, where I was basically saying that, like, depending on how you're raised, what your parents instill in you, what friends you keep around, that's what you're going to think is acceptable, right, okay,
yeah,
you know, all of that kind of stuff. You're like, this is how life should be. And it's not until you get out of those circles and educate yourself and meet new people and hear different opinions and hear different stories where you're like, oh, and a light bulb goes off.
Yeah.
And that's
really what the word like progressive means, right? It's like you're progressing forward.
I think that's something you said in the car today, and I meant to get back to that, but of course our ADHD took us elsewhere. But
we're like Taco Bell.
Right. We were talking about how I at one point had an idea of doing a political podcast, and I was just basically telling Joy in the car like why I was hesitant to do that. And one of the things you said is like, oh, you would be hesitant too, because what if you thought one thing and then a few years down the line you switched your mind? You wouldn't want that one thing out in the internet. And I said to you, I was like, no, I actually love that.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it is. I want to show people progression. Mm-hmm. There have been so many times in my life where I've thought one thing and I was so dead set on it. And I was like, I'm absolutely right. I've done the education. I've done the research. And then something else pops up and comes along and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
whoops. And like, I want people to know it's okay to change your mind and to educate yourself. And
I'm still going through that, not just with life and politics and all that kind of stuff, but even in the dog training world.
Yeah.
I start one way and I'm getting told this by one person. This person is world renowned and everyone is praising this person for a few years. And then I progress forward. I'm like, oh, well, this actually isn't the right way to do this. And, you know, so even that, like, you have to constantly have an open mind, constantly be willing to change, constantly admitting that there's a better way. And I definitely think that a lot of that has to do with education. Like, you can only go so far with the education that you have. So as long as you keep informing yourself and learning and stuff like that.
And not education. I'm sure you didn't mean it this way, but just to clarify, not education as in like you have to go get your master's or go to college.
I mean educating yourself, reading and
listening to other people and hearing
looking at real scientific studies and really, really diving deep.
Right.
Being careful who you pick as your idols too. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So, good segue back to Taylor. So initially when I read this article, I was like, ew, because I'm so, in my mind, I'm so like, you should know to be a good person and you should know to do these things and you should know to be an ally. But you're right. It's like, she grew up, I want to say like in the South, right? Maybe. I don't know. My girlfriend might.
And her dad is more conservative.
He's very conservative. And so like, if you're surrounded by those people, also like, and that's what I appreciated about this documentary. This documentary is basically talking about how she had everything to lose by coming out and making a political stance, because she did start as a country artist and she has a huge fan base of people that were voting conservatively. So if she was to come out and make a stance, it's like, you are going to lose those people. And so it's like, that's the side that I didn't think about. And so thank you to girlfriend for opening my eyes about that. But yeah, and so I don't even know where we were going with this.
We were talking about how a story with Taylor Swift and the security guard. And
Oh, right. So yes, I think this all started because I was like, oh, I wasn't a fan of her. But then after we watched that documentary, I was
Yes.
like, oh, okay. And I gave her a second chance. And now like I am starting to listen to her lyrics and appreciate. I will
explain.
I'll bleep it.
Girlfriend explains it really well, though. Like, if she wasn't diving into the backstory of so much with Taylor Swift, I would just think like, oh, this is just another music video, or this is just another song.
Yeah.
But when she does give you the backstories on everything,
Yeah.
you have a different appreciation for it.
I'm going to get hate for this. I'm loud and proud. I will say this. I can appreciate that. And there's so many people that say this, so this is not an original thought. But I can appreciate that she is one of the greatest lyricists of our generation. And I can appreciate that now because I do now read the lyrics and listen to the lyrics as the song is going. And like, Girlfriend does explain the backstory and like, it's incredible. Like the way her mind works.
Yeah.
I think her voice is average. I think it's average and I'm sorry. So
I do have that thought that goes through my mind when I'm watching some live videos and stuff.
She's an incredible performer, incredible songwriter.
She's absolutely beautiful.
So beautiful. Like nice to look at.
Yeah.
But the voice for me.
But I feel like there's a different side in when you see her concert videos, but when you hear her just singing with like a piano or something, it sounds totally different.
And I'm sure it's because when you're up on stage, you're exhausted and hot and,
screaming at the top of your lungs.
Yeah, multiple nights in a row. But anyway, so so again, long story long, there was an interaction, and I just happened to see this because my girlfriend, all of her TikTok, you scroll, it's Taylor. Like, oh my God. Occasionally it'll be like Taylor, cat, Taylor, gay, Taylor. But she was watching this, and at one of Taylor's concerts, she was in the middle of singing a song. Again, you knew she was actually singing because like the song would stop when she would pull the microphone away to yell at the security guard.
Right.
And she, like, in the middle of one of her songs, she was like, stop, she's fine, she's not doing anything wrong, and then went right back to singing, and then went right back to yelling at the security guard. Was like, stop, she's fine. But I still don't know what was happening with this girl.
I don't either. That's all only clips I've seen too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's take we can check to see if we have another sponsor, and we'll read real quick.
Yeah,
and then we'll get back.
Yes.
Okay. So
sponsor.
Did we harmonize?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay, we are back. All right. So I'm just because. I don't think I'm going to summarize this better than, I hate saying this. I'm not going to summarize it better than BuzzFeed does. Apparently what happened at the Taylor concert, it says, it appeared that there was a security guard that was scolding a fan in the front row. And when Taylor saw this, she decided to intervene. So in the middle of singing her song, she shouted, she's fine, while motioning at the security guard. And then she noticed that the security guard was not stopping, so she shouted again into her microphone this time, looking directly at the security guard, and said she wasn't doing anything. And then she walked off. BuzzFeed says she walked off to a different part of the stage. And then BuzzFeed says the guard either didn't realize that she was talking to him or didn't care. And when Taylor noticed that they were still bothering the fan, she turned back and yelled, hey, stop. This is while she was singing Bad Blood. Taylor didn't leave the section of the stage again until she was satisfied that the situation had been handled, and, had to yell at him a couple more times. And, obviously got a lot of praise for standing up. And then the girl that was actually getting harassed by the security guard ended up posting a TikTok.
I saw that this morning.
Yeah.
I didn't see the TikTok, but I saw she posted.
Yeah. And so it said TikToker Caitlin Gabble confirmed that it was her best friend Kelly that the security guard was bothering in the video, and then uploaded a stitch of Kelly, who apparently isn't on TikTok, revealing what had gone down. And Kelly insisted, before she went into the whole thing, that it wasn't a big crazy deal or anything, that the guard had been harassing them all night before he got escorted out of the stadium. So
oh my goodness,
the security guard got escorted out. So she said basically the guard, this is coming from the friend of the person this happened to, she said basically the guard had been harassing our group all night. He just kept telling us not to touch the rail, like the guard, what's it called, barricade.
Yeah.
Kept telling us not to touch the rail, and every time we did anything, he was on top of us. We were dancing and having fun, and he didn't like it. And Taylor noticed that I was having fun and that he didn't like it, and she didn't like that. And then she said, BuzzFeed said, Kelly went on to reveal that Taylor's team had given her group tickets for Sunday night's show after their experience on Saturday.
Wow.
So it was nice. Okay, so she basically, what I'm getting is they were just, being a bunch of teen girls having fun at a Taylor Swift concert. The security guard comes along and is like, no fun for you.
I feel like once you become a target to a security guard at an event like that too, they don't stop.
Oh, for sure.
Watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause they've not-
I mean, to his defense, I feel like it's probably a rule because people probably jump over the barricades and try to go to on stage.
I could see that.
But like at a certain point, if the artist herself is telling you to leave her alone, leave her alone.
Right.
Like,
that's so sad that he got, like, not sad as in like I feel bad for him, but like that's pathetic that he
Yeah.
got escorted out.
I wonder if he lost his job.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that's really cool. So the group of girls that this was happening to, this happened on Saturday night, and then they got to go back on Sunday.
That's awesome. It seems like Taylor does really look out for her fans, though.
Oh yeah. I mean, again, this is just like stuff that my girlfriend has educated me on, of like the cute stuff that she does for her fans.
And she does like meet and greets for free. She doesn't charge.
Mhm.
Like that was very cool to hear.
At least pre-COVID, but now she can't because like she's still trying to like be safe,
Right,
you know?
right.
But yeah, I used to invite people to her house for like to listen to like the pre-releases, and yeah, just she's a good person. I'll admit it. She's a good person. Fine. She's not a mean girl. Whatever.
We were wrong. We were just judging her. We need to work on that.
Yeah, I can't with these two.
These two are
Jeter and Snoop, the dogs, are
like,
insisting.
you cannot keep us apart any longer.
Yeah, they're insisting on playing right next to where we're recording. I love this for us.
Mhm.
Anyway, we are wrapping up to the end of the episode. Did you want to play a game? Did you want to do some questions?
Let's play a game or do some either one of those or questions.
Okay.
See if you have any in your because I know you've gotten a lot of questions.
Oh my gosh. I always get so, and I love it. Like, this is not an oh my gosh, like I hate it. I love
You have a lot to go through.
I'm just going to do this though. I'm going to do questions to ask people because going through my DMs would take me a hot second. Okay. I love that. Why is it now that every website you go to, you have to accept the cookies? I feel like
all of them.
I feel like there's some new law developed.
And I never want to accept it because I feel like it's a trick.
Yeah. Okay. Snoop.
Okay, all done.
All done. We're all done playing.
Enough. Not right now, Jeter. You'll play right after.
Oh, Snoop's mad.
No.
Okay. Anyway, Snoop really wants the episode to be over. All right, let's see. What is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like
if
a simple one, my biggest fear is waking up in the middle of the night and finding a giant spider on me. That is like
okay,
a really big fear.
Can we just acknowledge what happened not only 2 hours ago?
But that thing was in it was enclosed.
It was popping the lid off. We went to like a reptile store about 2 or 3 hours ago to pick up crickets for Rachel and Abby's.
Hold on. Let me. Jeter, come here. Jeter, come here.
The dogs
We're
will not
almost
stop
done,
fighting.
Bubba. Come here. Come right here.
Yeah, we were just at a reptile store like 2 or 3 hours ago and picking up crickets for the chameleon, Rachel and Abby's chameleon. And while we were there, they were transferring the huntsman spiders, which are the biggest breed of spiders.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Huge spiders.
Massive.
These weren't even the biggest they can get.
No, they were juveniles that they were.
The lid was probably like
The lid.
that big.
Yeah. It was like the size of a baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were
Huge.
transferring the juveniles into bigger containers because they had outgrown their other ones. And as they were transferring them, Joy was all up in there like, oh, I want to see.
Well, when it comes to things I'm afraid of too, I'm insanely fascinated by them, like the murder documentaries, because it helps me feel educated on them and like knowing what to look for. Because like I'm terrified of sharks too, but yes, I want to go shark diving. You know, I want to see them. I want to know about them. Like I have this weird thing where like I want to just go right through my fear. Like
okay. No, I feel like that's really cool, actually. I mean, yeah. I was going to say, is it a bit of it's not called Darwinism. What is it? Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, right.
Where your body's like, please do not do this thing that will cause you harm. And you're like,
I feel like the only way to get over fear is to go through it.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I have my worst toxic trait is I think I could survive a shark attack. Because I watch the shark attack documentaries all the time or like the YouTube videos about it.
Like Shark Week. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? If I were out surfing, which would never happen because I'm terrified of sharks, and a shark latched onto my side or leg, like I would know immediately. You punch it, like you poke its eye, you punch it in its nose, you punch its gills.
But I heard all that stuff doesn't work. Especially when they're in attack mode.
This is why it's a toxic trait of mine.
I've always thought that if I came across a shark, I wasn't in a shark cage, whatever, I wouldn't die from a shark attack. I'd die from a heart attack.
Oh,
I would just
fair
drown.
enough. Yeah. The shark's like, dude, come on.
Out of here. This isn't even fun anymore.
Right. I don't even want you anymore. Yeah, I mean, have you watched, there's so many TikTokers. My favorite one is, can you not lick your butt right next to me? Thank you. My favorite one is Mermaid Kaylee, or Kaylee Mermaid. She lives in Hawaii and she runs a shark conservation company where she'll take people out to go free diving with sharks and educate them. And it's like with bull sharks.
Is that the girl who wears like the camo?
Yes. With her hair.
I thought her name was like Maddie or.
There's so many of them.
Okay.
It's always like mid-20s skinny blonde white girls that do this.
Yes.
And she always shows that like when the bull sharks are coming towards her, she'll just turn around. She's like, make eye contact and just move their nose gently. I'm like,
there's times where the shark's mouth is like.
Right,
open.
and she just like closes it gently. I'm like, I would be thrusting, punching, kicking, and she's like, please do not do that. That's the worst thing you can do.
That draws them to you.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I think we were just talking about this the other night too. We went out to a bar and there was a giant cane
corso, or cane corso, whatever.
Yeah, its head was literally the size of a tire,
but he was a big chicken.
Oh, yeah, he was so
scared. 2 small dogs came in and he ran behind his mom. He was so scared.
He must have weighed like 120-something pounds and he was like hiding behind his 85-pound mom. Yeah. But I was just telling Joy, one of my favorite like laughable things, like memes I see on the internet is like these guys being like, oh, women walking down the street and a guy passes them and they clutch their purse and like hug as tight to the wall as they can to like protect themselves. And then they see a vicious pit bull come around the corner. Oh, sweet baby. And like run right up to it.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So
what's your biggest like fear in life? Like,
well, we didn't finish yours. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So spiders and sharks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my biggest fear in life. Man. It's a hard one. My biggest fear in life. I think I've always had a fear of like looking back and regretting something or not taking a chance on certain things, or like a big one for a long time because I used to be very quiet, was like not speaking up for myself.
I cannot picture you quiet.
I used to be so shy, so quiet.
How did you get yourself out of that?
A couple things. One, trauma, because I literally was getting picked on so much that I just had to start voicing myself. And then I grew up in a home where my voice wasn't ever heard, so I just had to scream louder. And then I also I always had like a desire to be in some sort of like spotlight kind of thing. I thought I wanted to do like acting or something when I was younger, but I knew if I didn't get over this hurdle, that would never happen. And so I put myself in like 3 different choirs in high school. I did theater all 4 years, and I did comedy improv. And comedy, and comedy improv was the one. And it wasn't so much doing those things. It was the people I met in those things.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the people that I knew before that were very Christian and conservative and this and that. And those were the people I felt comfortable around because it was like my family. But the theater and the choir group was way more like
homosexual.
Yeah. Gay people, like just very like out there, didn't care what anybody thought. Like I made this one really good friend. Her name is Tessa. She was, what is it called when love doesn't have a gender?
Like pansexual?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And she just like, I mean, when it came to stuff that I was dealing with, I could talk kind of like you, talk freely about like, well, what about this? And I was taught this. And she would just knock all that stuff down for me. And so it was just getting around those group of people and watching how confident they were in themselves. Yeah. That really helped me like branch out and become more myself.
I love that. I would pay good money. And I'm talking like $17 because that's all that's in my bank account right now. But I'd pay good money to see you do improv. Oh, like comedy improv.
Our high school became the best improv, like in our whole city, county. Like we would sell out more tickets than our football team.
What?
Yeah, we made it in the newspaper a few times. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was really, really good.
Okay, so all right, so spiders, sharks. Looking back at life and regretting things. I like from my standpoint, which is obviously like never to invalidate you, but from my point of view, I don't think I've ever looked at you or like looked at your life and been like, oh, she should have done that or she's going to regret not doing that. I feel like you're one of those people, and maybe that's what you're talking about, where you actively push through the fear. Like you always take the chance and the opportunity, and I love that about you.
Thank you.
So I feel like now we just got to get, and
I feel like it's easy to stay comfortable.
Oh, for sure.
You know? Yeah.
So now we just got to get you in a cage with sharks.
Yes.
Your spiders, you kind of tackled today.
Yeah.
You know, the regrets, you're doing good.
Yes.
Now we just got to tackle the sharks.
Yes. What about you?
I think in life, my biggest things are being alone. I hate being alone. And I know that's something I need to work on, but I also have argued with my therapist recently because like I have been trying really hard over the past 2 years to be working on like my independence and being okay with myself and being okay being alone. And I think at some point, like I obviously live by myself and like, you know, there are moments where like I choose not to go out and hang out with people because I really do just want to stay home and be alone.
Yeah.
But I think at some point it becomes less about like, because my whole therapist thing was like, you don't like being alone because you don't like yourself. You don't want to be alone with yourself. And I was like, all right, fair enough. But I think at this point it's a personality thing.
Yeah.
Like I can be alone and I am fine being by myself and I love being lazy and like in solitude. But I don't thrive that way.
Yeah.
And so like I don't think there's anything wrong, and I've been arguing with my therapist. I don't think there's anything wrong with at a certain point like seeking out other people and not wanting to be alone because it's just not who I am.
Yes.
I'm an extrovert. I love like being around other people and being happy and having experiences and like hanging out and talk. I love talking, clearly.
Yeah.
So like I don't know.
I enjoyed being alone when I like lived alone and stuff, but I could only do it for like a few days and then I would get really gloomy and I needed to get out and I needed to be around people.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you're saying. I don't think I have a problem being alone especially if I needed to be. Like I know how to take that space for myself, but it's not somewhere I would thrive in being alone all the time.
No, you can love yourself and still want to be around other people.
Yeah.
I think that's a thing.
Yes.
So yeah, being alone and then like not so deep. Sharks. Same. Yeah. I'm like literally I will have my little tootsies in the water and I'll be like, well, what if a shark sees a minnow swim up towards the shore and then goes to charge it and accidentally my whole foot goes in its mouth like that?
As a kid when I was in the pool, if everyone got out before me, I'd think like a shark's coming at me and it would just send me out of that pool.
Did you ever dive off the diving board into the deep end and you're like, well, there's definitely a shark down there waiting for me?
Yes. Yeah, it's like the same thing when you're walking down a dark hallway and you're like, there is something behind me.
Yeah, exactly. You just like scare yourself.
That happened to me last night when I had to walk into Rachel's room and I didn't turn on any lights.
No.
And I went to grab the pillow and I think something was hanging up in her closet, but I just saw it out of the corner of my eye and I was like, I gotta get out of here. I'm about to die.
You just start turning around and swinging. Dylan walks in the room. He's like, what do you do? Like turns on the light. It's just like a shirt hanging up. It's like, what are you doing? I'm out here fighting for my life is what I'm doing, okay?
And I try not, my brain always wants to psych me out. Like if I ever go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and I just go in the dark, like I'm sitting there and I'm like, not thinking about anything, all of a sudden it's like demons, ghosts, this, that.
Right.
And I'm like, try not to open my eyes.
Sometimes I will pretend to be asleep so that the demon in my room doesn't come and scare me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, I'm like, if I just close my eyes and like keep breathing all heavy like I'm asleep, then he won't come and like hover over me.
Did you ever, as a kid, like at night too, when it was dark in your room, like see your lamp or something and swear it was like shape shifting or something?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I would psych myself out so bad.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, I never, full disclosure, I never slept alone in my entire life until this year, until I moved here, because I always slept with one of my sisters or my parents or, you know, whatever, or like, you know, a partner or a roommate. And then after I got divorced and then I moved here, this was the very first time I slept alone. And I was just like, oh. So do I have 3 night lights? I don't know. That's a secret I'll never tell.
Night lights are saviors.
They really are. They're twinkle
But now
lights.
I have 3 dogs that surround me at night, so that helps me feel a little more.
I used to have Daisy. R.I.P. Too soon. Anyway.
Sorry. I should not have said that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Rachel said I can borrow Blaze. So.
Or Jita Weeder.
Jita, would you protect me if someone came in?
He would startle you out of your sleep by doing his boo.
And then he would hide behind me. She's over here. Take her.
Unless they run, he'd chase them.
That's true. But then he would just like look for the toy in their hand or, ow, Jita, my finger's in there. Okay, great. Anyway, all right.
You want to do one last question?
Sure. I love long episodes, so if y'all hate it, I'm sorry, but I love long episodes.
A good long episode.
Yeah.
You need some time to get it going.
For sure.
Jeter's like, I am done with this.
I know. It's time to play. It's outside time.
Jeter, sit.
Here, I'm going to let you pick.
Okay, let me see.
And while she picks, I'm going to talk about astronomy. did you know there are stars and planets? Is that astronomy or astrology?
I wasn't listening.
I feel like astrology is like Taurus, Capricorn.
Yeah.
Okay, astronomy. I don't know. Did I learn anything new this week? Oh! Well, no, it's going to take me too long to explain that. So, anyway, have you found an interesting question?
If you could choose to do anything for a day, anything.
Oh, just for a day?
Yeah. What would that day look like?
Oh, God. Okay. Is there unlimited money?
Yeah, anything. It's just not like you can't like time travel. So like I want to go to Australia and then I'm going to be in New Zealand.
Okay, anything for a day. Do you have an answer?
If I could do anything for a day, especially right now given the state of mind I'm in.
I know.
I think I would love to just go horseback riding. No restrictions.
That's so pure.
Nobody telling me like what to do. Just getting on a horse and just
I was going to say like
going.
I just want to be out on the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought water at first, but I'm like, I go to the beach a lot. I'd like to go horseback riding. But going back, if anything could be on the table.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to my grandpa one more time.
That's really cute. When did he pass?
He passed when I was like, I want to say like 22. So like,
what would you want to talk about?
I guess I would want to tell him about like my dog training business and like I just would want to talk to him about life stuff and just hear his advice again. Like I feel like a lot of the stuff I learned from him is when I was so young.
Right.
And it's hard to recall a lot of that stuff now. So I would love to just come back. I would really love to ask him like what are his memories that he has, like things that maybe we have forgotten.
Right.
Yeah, if I could do anything, I would love to talk to him again.
That's really cool. Are there any like very specific questions that like you would love to hear from him, or just general advice about everything?
Mostly just general advice.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he always knew like what to say.
I love that.
Yeah, and he taught me a lot about animals, so I think he would find it really interesting to hear how much he taught me about like horses and stuff, and how that kind of leads over into what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And I'd like to just hear what he would have to say about it, and yeah.
He'd be so proud of you to hear about the dog training stuff.
Yeah, I think so too.
No, he would love that. That's really cool.
I think he'd be surprised too, because my sister, who's older than me, Janet, she was kind of the one that he was always kind of with a lot when it came to the horse stuff, because she was a little bit older than me, so it was a little bit safer. She could take a little more risk, But I was always the annoying one right behind them that was like, I want to do it next, and he was always like good with that, but at the same time, he definitely had more of a protective feel around me because I was younger and smaller than her. But I think he would also find it interesting to know that I'm the one that really went that route.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would like want? Like, what would be like if you could only tell him one thing that you'd want him to like hear? What would that be?
I think I would really, because I don't think I ever had that moment with him, because he passed when I was living in Texas, and so and then he had a stroke like a few years before, so he really went like downhill.
Oh man,
we didn't really get to like have time to talk about stuff. But I think if I could tell him anything, I would really just want a moment to tell him like thank you, because he made the holidays what they were.
Yeah,
he picked us up from school. He tutored me in math in school and all that kind of stuff. Like he really was like our childhood. He's the one who bought us the horses. He's the one who talked my mom into letting us have our first Roddy that we did. Like he was like the reason for everything. And when my parents weren't acting right, he was the first one to storm through that door and make sure, like especially on holidays, like especially Halloween was his day. So if my parents were in a good mood, he would shut that stuff down. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like your
protector.
I was going to say your protector, and like
he was the one who let us be children.
Yeah, molded you into who you are and like your passions and everything.
Yeah. He would take us around on hikes, and like he's the one who taught us to catch wild snakes and like how to identify like the poisonous ones, and like he was a true cowboy. Like he taught us a lot of stuff. Yeah. And I always laugh because my grandpa was one of those guys where if you did not want to upset him, like upsetting him would upset you, so you always wanted to do right. But
because he was just so like genuine.
Yes.
Okay.
But there was one time where he did have to give me and my sister a little spanking on the tush, because we scared him so bad, because her and I were in the pool and we were pretending to drown. So her and I are in the pool like, help, help, help. And he came rushing out of the house, cell phone and all, dove into that pool, hooked us both under his arms, got us out of the pool, checked on us, and we were laughing. Oh. And he was, the fear, I will never forget the look of fear in his face. And he gave us, not bad, but one little pat on the bottom and was like, don't ever do that again. And Yeah. Just, we had a lot of good memories.
He sounds like a good guy.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Yeah. Man.
What about you? If you had one day to do whatever you wanted.
Well, now I feel like I'm gonna go your route. Like,
go my route.
Like, yeah. I had like my best friend passed in high school, and I think I'd want to talk to her. Like, I just want to like apologize for things I didn't get to apologize for, and like I'd want to update her on my life. And honestly, selfishly, I'd want to hear what's after.
Yeah.
Because after she passed, I had so many dreams where she came to visit me, and like, you can call me crazy, you can say whatever, you can think whatever you want, but like, to me, my truth is that was actually her coming to communicate with me.
I feel like it is when it's not something that happens often.
Yes.
Like they come when you need.
Yes.
Or when you're not expecting it, but you need it. Yeah.
And that's how it was. It was in a moment I truly needed
And everything
her.
in dreams is always kind of misconstrued or a little off. The few times that I dream about my grandpa, it is like crystal clear.
Yeah.
He's sitting in his chair that he always sat in. I'm sitting on his lap like I always did. There's nothing else around. It's like a white room almost.
Yeah.
And whenever I talk to him, he's always like rocking in the chair like he used to, holding me. No matter what I say though, he always says, it's gonna be okay. That's all he says though. He never like deep dives into anything, but it feels so like genuine.
Yeah, I want to do another uncensored episode with you on it, even if like there's not room for me to be on it, but like Rachel's interviewing you to talk about like paranormal stuff, because I know you and I have a lot of similar stories. And a lot of stories. Yeah. But yeah, that I knew it was her. Like, in my dream, and I never know I'm dreaming ever. I'm not one of those people where I'm in my dream, I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming. I've never had that except this dream. And I was like, oh, I'm dreaming. This is her. And she really told me what I needed to hear in that moment, and like really confirmed a lot of things for me. But one of the things, and like this is a much longer story for a different time, but like she basically told me we would talk a lot as teenagers about what we thought, because neither of us were religious, and we would talk a lot about what we thought happened afterwards. Mm-hmm. And I'll get into that someday. Mm-hmm. But when she came to visit me, I was like, crying, and I was like, I'm so sad I never get to see you again. And she was like, you will get to see me again. Like, not in like a morbid way, but like, hold on, Snoop's tripping over the wire. She basically was talking about like recycled energy and soul contracts and like stuff that I didn't have the vocabulary for back then, but I had the like notion of, like the idea of, I just didn't know what it was called. And she looks at me at one point and she goes, Emily, it's real. Everything we thought, she was like, it's real. And she was like, so we will see each other again, and I will be here waiting for you, and like, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And so like, selfishly,
that's so cool.
I would want to hear more about that. Yes. I'd be like, please, like, break it down for me. Tell me,
let's talk more.
Yeah. And then of course I'd like want to apologize and update, and like, I just want to hear everything. That was a really good answer.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then if we're not allowed paranormal stuff, then I just want to be out on the water on a sailboat.
I feel like if I talked to my grandpa and he confirmed, like, I would get a chance to laugh at him, because he was always like, you guys are crazy. There's no ghosts. There's no blah, blah. Yeah. But I feel like it was him genuinely trying to convince himself, because when we would watch Ghost Hunters and stuff, he'd sit there just watching the TV.
Again, just drool coming out the side of the mouth. Oh my God. Oh, the boys are getting rowdy.
They're done.
They're done. They're like, this episode's too long.
They're ready to play.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being my co-host this episode.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I love having you on. And yes, thank you for being patient with us during our ADHD rambles and our non-internet news rambles, and hope you enjoyed the episode. And if not, Rachel will be back next week. Question mark? I'm pretty sure she'll be back next week. And we'll be back on track. But yeah, thanks for sticking around, and we love you guys. And don't forget to
like and subscribe and
comment and follow us on it. Oh, do you want to plug your Instagram? Go.
Oh, Jump for Joy Training, all one word. JUMPFURJOYTRAINING.
Yappers. That's how you spell that. Yeah. Jump for Joy Training.
Did I spell it wrong?
I don't know. I think you spelled it right.
Yeah.
I'll link it in the description down below. My YouTube channel, my Instagram is going to be linked down below. All of the rest of Rachel's channels are going to be linked down below. Her vlog channel, her main channel, and her new merch will be linked down below. So thank you to everyone. We appreciate your patience. Hope you liked it. And if you didn't, please don't tell us, because we'll cry.
Boo-hoo. Thank
All right.
you.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Wait, we gotta do the 5, 6, 7, 8. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of All Things Internet. Please make sure to like and follow our podcast on whichever platform you're currently listening to it on. And make sure to follow us at Podcast ATI on Twitter, where you can ask questions and get the latest updates on our show. We love you. Thanks for listening. I'm Rachel Ballinger, and this has been All Things Internet.